As a skeptic who spends a lot of time on social media, I'd like to think I have a pretty good bullshit detector. When I see a claim on Facebook or whatever, I still follow the proper fact-checking procedures and everything, but it usually confirms my suspicion. If I look at something and say, well, that's going to be bullshit, it's almost always going to be bullshit. Or at least that was the case back in the heady days of this time last month, but much like their efforts to overwhelm your outrage capacity that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the Trump administration also seems to be trying to overwhelm your capacity to recognize bullshit. No fewer than 5 times in the last 2 weeks, I've learned about something on social media first, thought to myself, well, that's going to be bullshit, and then found myself slack-jawed in front of a news site a minute later, desperately recalibrating my bullshit detector. So I feel like now would be a great time to kind of go back over the basics of social media fact-checking, right? Because in all 5 instances that I'm talking about, somebody was sharing a meme-ified version of the information that had no source. And I mean, fine, I guess, right? It turned out to be correct regardless. But think about all the people who, like me, saw those memes and thought, well, that's going to be bullshit, and didn't double-check it. If the meme maker had taken the time to add, according to CNN or the New York Times confirms at the beginning of the meme, well, at least we'd have given the person pause, right? We'd have given them somewhere to go to check. And if the meme maker didn't do the work, the meme sharer can still add a lot by simply posting something like, I confirmed this through the Associated Press above the meme. Right? Now, granted, this isn't as good as actually providing a source, but given the way that most social media sites at this point deprioritize anything with an outbound link, it's often a necessary compromise if you want anything that you post to actually be seen. That being said, adding relevant links to generally credible news sources in the comments is a quick fix that has no negative effect on visibility. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Noah, I love your optimism here, but my relatives don't trust the liberal cucks at CNN or the failing New York Times. They believe generally credible news sources less than they believe unsourced memes. But I'm not talking about shouting down the maggots' cries of fake news here. I'm talking about reaching reasonable people who have been filtering out outlandish claims about the evil shit the sitting president is doing since the reign of Bush the Younger. I mean, if I saw a bunch of stuff on social media about Biden or Obama, like seizing control of central payment systems or ousting real news sources from the Pentagon to put in troll sites or saying that he was going to clear out Gaza to put up hotels, I just said, well, that's going to be bullshit, and I'd have been right. If you're a reasonable person who's not politically engaged, which, sure, I guess that's a contradiction in terms, but if you're a person capable of being reasonable who isn't politically engaged, you're very likely to see those stories and dismiss them as the kind of libel that dogs every sitting president. It's remarkably easy to do when they're as outlandish as the reality of Trump's second administration has been so far. Of course, including sources has the added benefit of making sure that you're not spreading bullshit. Even among the parade of outrageous overreaches and nuclear-level gaffes that we've gotten over the last few weeks, I'm still seeing a steady stream of misinformation and bullshit, just like always. Saw a Facebook post where somebody had shared a fake screenshot that pretended to be a tweet from Elon Musk, as though there's not enough real egregious shit that Nazi is doing that we got to make shit up. And in this instance, the person even said, I haven't checked to see if this is real. Which I guess that's better than not admitting that you haven't checked. But why the fuck would you share something like that without checking to see if it's real? It's so easy to do. The claim is, this is on Twitter. I mean, you could reasonably say, I don't want to go to Twitter, and I'll back you up on that. But part of the price of not going to Twitter is that you shouldn't be sharing out claims of what's on fucking Twitter. Look, as bad as things are right now, they're going to get worse. They're going to get more egregious and more unbelievable in equal measures. It's going to get harder and harder to convince the middle of the country what's going on is really going on. And at the same time, it's going to get more and more important. We cannot afford to give away our credibility in advance of that.